Halo Outreach Podcast to keep you updated with everything going on in Halo. How's it going, everybody? It is Kevin here once again giving our gameplay commentary, but today we're doing the podcast goodness with our buddy Patman Gaming. Pat, why don't you say hello?
Hello.
And today we're bringing you another episode 17 of the Halo Outreach Podcast, a podcast designed to keep you, the viewer, up to date with everything going on in Halo. So Pat, how has your week been when it comes to just anything in general? How you been? How are things?
Busy, Kevin.
Yeah.
Very, very busy.
I've been keeping busy as well.
Yeah. Put out a lot of content on YouTube this week, so it's been there's a lot to talk about on this podcast today.
Yeah.
Guys. We got a lot of topics to cover, which is exciting because some weeks it's a little tough to do a podcast with no news. But I also had both of my parents were born a day apart, so I had I took them out to dinner today and celebrate their birthdays.
Nice.
They turned 44 this week, so yeah, shout out to the parents. And my Bills lost, so my day's ruined. So
damn. I think I got the Seahawks playing on the time this airs Monday against the 49ers. They're undefeated. They're 8-0 right now. Yeah, they've been kind of smashing on bad teams. And exactly. But of course, they were kind of a bad team last season, so it's kind of surprising to see them undefeated. But tomorrow should be a good test. My Seahawks are 7-2. Yeah, well, that turns out. But enough sports ball. Talking about Halo time now. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the patch update that's going to be coming pretty soon for Flight 3. Hopefully within before the event of Twitch Rivals, which we'll get into later. We're also going to be talking about Halo 2's birthday was last week as well, and a little bit of a teaser of an unreleased mission in the campaign was kind of shown by one of the former developers at Bungie, which was kind of cool just to kind of check out there. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we have the Twitch Rivals event happening on, I believe it is Wednesday, the 12th, right? The 12th. So. Yeah. At 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right? Literally as soon as Flight 3 ends.
Tuesday.
Yeah, as soon as Flight 3 ends, that's when that will start. So it's going to be dropping probably Monday for this patch, and hopefully it fixes a lot. And also, on top of that, we had HCS 5 years. I think we had talked about that, but they had a huge update. Big blog post. Putting post-ums to shame, really, with the amount of content, amount of stuff discussed in this update. Well, Tashi, he uploads how many blogs a year? I mean, like, not that many. Right. There was also a nice video that kind of went along with the whole thing, kind of summarizing the bullet points of that whole thing. We also had Kiki Wolfkill and Frank O'Donnell going over to Budapest, which, if you guys don't know, that means Halo TV show goodness, bringing them over there. And more cast members confirmed with a somewhat controversial choice on Captain Keyes.
And you just literally made Marty and Frank have a baby. It's Frank O'Connor. You said Frank O'Donnell.
Oh, gosh.
You just mixed Marty O'Donnell and Frank O'Connor.
They're both Irish.
Cut that.
Both Irish names, and there's the O's. Okay, come on.
Yeah, true.
Oh, God, I was full on.
One has more hair than
the other. I was full on exposed right there. All right, guys, peace out. That was a good podcast.
Yeah, fake fan. You just see him like evaporate.
I don't feel so good, yes. And then, as we always do, every podcast we give you the MCC playlist updates as well as a Halo 5 update to keep you guys know what's going on in those games that you're available playing at the moment. And without further ado, let's just jump right into the content of what I'm sure you guys all want to know about the Flight 3 patch that's going to be coming in for us. Probably as soon as this video is uploaded or the next day. But Pat has had a chance to read through this lengthy, well, not super lengthy, but good girthy update from Sketch, actually, for this. And we figured let Pat kind of take lead on this since he kind of got into the details, made a video about it. So Pat, why don't you lead us off with the Flight 3 patch update?
They call me Pitchy Pit.
Pitchy Pit.
Yeah, so this was usually these flight like update posts are very short, like a few lines, all right, here's what's going on. This one was definitely girthy. So the biggest
Get some creeps
thing
in the chat on that one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Need some creeps in the chat.
there was some new news as far as maybe there being actually an extension to the flight. So the flight might not end on the 12th, depending on when this patch goes live, because they did state they want to give people enough time to test out the fixes because there are several fixes in this patch. So we could be looking at a extension to the extension of the flight, which would be really cool because I'm really excited to test out some of these issues that have been reported. The number one thing being the mouse input delay. A lot of people have been complaining about it. I've been complaining about it, but I'm just trashing mouse and keyboard, so I'm just looking for a cop out, and I'm going to use that until they fix it. But they're actually disabling variable refresh rate for this patch, so you cannot go above 60 FPS for now. This is not a final fix at all to this problem. The final release should have variable frame rates, or else what is the point of playing on PC? You know, like they're just saying that basically Reach was meant to be played at 30 and 60 is causing maybe some problems. They want to eliminate that variable completely because a lot of people were reporting that having higher frame rates was causing issues. So they want to see if that is something that would be a fix, a possible fix, and then go from there. They also said that with this patch, that the team had discovered an issue where mouse input could be at a lower CPU priority than it should be, which could also cause delay, and there will be a fix inside this patch for that. So overall, mouse input should be better, should feel more responsive. A lot of people, I was actually in Uber Nick's chat the other day, and he was complaining a lot about server issues and hit detection. There's also some discoveries they made about that and other latency problems. So they're trying to work on that, and they didn't really say that anything would be in the patch for that, but that they're going to share more info on that soon. And me and Kevin, of course, will update you guys whenever we get some official patch notes. Chat filtering was another big thing on Twitter, on Reddit. I saw a lot of people complaining about it. Oh, it's a mature rated game. Why?
Yeah.
Why can't I say e-girl in chat? Things like that. So
Why
text
can't
to
I be
chat.
toxic?
Exactly. Text chat is being removed. The filter is being removed with the upcoming patch. As for the final release of the game, that's still to be determined what they're gonna do. But for right now, you could say e-girl all the hell you want coming up with this patch. Another thing is push to talk, which should be pretty standard on PC, honestly. Instead of having a live mic all
Yeah,
the time, that
that's
yeah,
standard.
yeah, yeah. They don't expect that to be changed with the next patch, but the team is aware that people want that and they're working on it. They also actually went live with like a mini update for progression. So your the tiers aren't as long right now. You're getting more XP. You're grinding through a little bit quicker. So they've made some changes to that. That is actually live now. You guys don't have to wait for the patch for that. Um, Getting stuck in menus and crashes, they're working on that as well. There's been some crashes, soft locks. They said to please continue to file your support tickets on the Halo support site, which would be in the email you guys got with your invitation to the flight, if you guys didn't know. And then on top of that, they also said that you guys will not need to download this or anything like that. This patch will just be live. It will update automatically for you to your game. And there was, I think, one to talk about one more thing. Um, oh yeah, Windows 7. There's a Windows 7 blocking issue. So if you guys are, rocking Windows 7, like, damn, I can't wait to play. They're likely to get that fixed out for people. They want to maybe add more people to this flight. So they said if they do add more invites, it might be for Windows 7 users, but they're not counting out sending more invites to Windows 10 and Microsoft Store users as well. And like I said, me and Kevin will of course update you guys if we do hear anything. So
What we do
that is
best.
yeah, exactly. So that's a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
honestly, to cover. But I'm glad
Makes
that they're
me
doing it.
worried. It certainly makes me worried about a game release happening next month, hopefully. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was kind of like my initial thoughts was gonna be like October is coming out. Well, probably more like November. Now I'm like,
right.
definitely December. And now I'm like, after hearing all those, I'm like, I mean, they're not like game breaking stuff.
No,
Besides like the
no, not
input
at all.
delay for the mouse. I mean, getting stuck in menus and having toggle channel or whatever you want to call it. Like a lot of the changes are the fixes that need to be done don't sound too crazy to pull off within a short amount of time. You know, obviously with like the EU people having issues with the hit detection, laggy games. Because I was watching Nick streaming, like, he was definitely just dealing with some significant lag. I could tell he was just definitely just playing just because, it's the new hot thing right now.
Right.
You can only play Halo 5 for how many years now, right?
Exactly.
And so for all you EU people and anyone outside the US, really, definitely knows some laggy hit detection for sure. For me, though, it's been totally fine on that.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice too because it's almost like we're getting another flight. Like this is a they stress this. This is a new build of the flight. The flight we are playing currently is a few weeks behind, so it's an
Mhm.
old build. This new patch is gonna update the flight to a newer build of the flight, so it's almost like flight number 4.
Yeah, Sketch said it
So
was
this
about
is kind
three
of cool.
weeks behind,
Yeah,
usually,
exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's cool. I'm glad that they're working on it on the fly and that we'll have a chance to test it out some more. Because I mean this stuff is critical for making sure MCC launches with as little issues as
Mhm.
possible. But it's not like the game plays bad. It does it even with mouse and keyboard. It's not game breaking like you said. They definitely need to get that variable refresh fixed because I want to play Halo at above 60 frames, or else
Yeah.
I would just rather not deal with mouse and keyboard and go play it on console. Like that's the reason why I want to play on PC is just to play it in its highest fidelity.
Oh,
So
yeah, I'm gonna
you
play
know,
with a mouse and keyboard.
yeah,
Because right now, like usually when I'm playing, I'm locking my frames at 60, playing it to an 1080p. I'm like playing with the controller. I'm like, I might as well just play it on Xbox, you know?
exactly. Or you could even play on a higher resolution on Xbox. You know, you could if you're on the X, you could play at 4K 60 and get an even better experience than the current PC version. So, yeah, there's definitely some things they need to work out as far as kinks go, but team's hard at work. I appreciate the feedback that they're always like listening, like this stuff
Hmm.
that they're doing on the fly. They didn't have to do this. They could have just went heads down, go back to work, and then when the game's ready, it's ready. But now we get to test that, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
most of the times the game companies they'll say like a big announcement, like they'll only make this kind of announcement of like Reach coming to PC, like when it's ready to be released. Basically, they're
Right.
not like 343 where they're like, this is what we're gonna start working on, and then get everyone excited about it, and then 8 months later, still waiting on the game to be released. But I think it
Yeah.
probably ended up being a much bigger task than what they were expecting, especially for Reach. I would assume with the follow-up games to be released a little bit sooner. But it's good you did mention about it was really good that they did tweak the XP gains because that was
Yeah.
really slow before they updated it. Because it took me like 35 hours of game time to get through the first tier in the season
Yeah.
pass. Because then after that, I did the math. I'm like, assuming every XP level is like, you need 5,000 XP or whatever, which apparently it scales up. Kind of like how the linear growth of XP is needed to get to the next level, similar to like say Halo 5, up until like 148.
Yeah.
It's a linear growth. And then I calculated it out, and it was like at least 15 days of gameplay in just Halo Reach to be able to unlock everything. I'm like, that's a bit steep for honestly
For
like a
one
year
season.
for one
Yeah.
season, and we're gonna really want to be playing this game for 1 year. Like that's about how much time I put into the game back in the day, back in 2010.
Right.
I put a
That's
little
how
bit
much
more. I have
time. That's
about
literally how much time I have in Halo 5, and that's a 4-year-old game. I have 16 days played online on
yeah.
Halo 5.
I think Halo Reach back in the day. I think I had like 20 days played, something like that, which is
Yeah.
a good amount of time playing the game.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm glad to see they tweaked that because that definitely needed to be addressed. Because I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And hopefully get the mouse and keyboard thing down because I want to use mouse and keyboard when I'm playing PC.
Yeah, I
I
want to
miss
learn
it.
it. And yeah, Halo's going to teach me. I'm
Mhm.
committed to that. So
Yeah, but hopefully it gets released, especially before pretty much that patch has to be released before the Twitch Rivals event,
yeah.
which we'll get to later on soon after we talk about. Anything, was there anything else you want to talk about the patch or anything recently with your experience with Reach on PC or?
No,
No?
I think we've covered that pretty intensely. I think,
Right
like I
on.
said, it's cool that they're doing this. We can move on to the Halo 2 cut mission.
The Halo 2 cut mission. That's right. Recently, Halo 2 celebrated its 15th birthday, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
15th, yeah.
Crazy to
2004.
think that it's been 5 years of the MCC being released, it still feels like it released like a couple of years ago to me, at least. Like, I guess maybe just Halo 5 and that time period between MCC and Halo 5 was just like a blur of just Halo greatness, except minus the MCC not working. But anyways.
And Halo 4's multiplayer.
So a lot of people are like talking about their memories and things like that about involved with Halo 2, which I think you and I will get involved with a little bit. But I wanted to give you guys the juicy little greatness of one of the former developers at Bungie tweeted out this little mission right here. If I can switch scenes real quick. Showing off, there was a mission that was cut from Halo 2, which was a lot of cut content from Halo 2. Let me just kind of zoom in here on this. Oh, a little too much, a little intense. But so basically, Vic the Leon was okay. I think he did like a lot of. Oh, see, actually, I kind of list right here. Actually, it still works for 343 Microsoft and Bungie, and he's a 3D artist, art designer and stuff like that. Basically kind of always just kind of like 3D modeling and all that good stuff. And he mentions how there was a map cut from Halo 2 called what was it called, Anchor Point. Which you first actually wait, there was, yeah, we'll just show this one right here. Basically it was a map looking very similar to what was that one map from Halo 2? No, it was Halo 2 where you play as the Arbiter and you go to cut that cable, you start making the station fall. Anchor 9?
Go over to the Heretic.
Yeah. And so these are various screenshots from the cut mission. Maybe it's just probably like an extended version of the mission that we played in Halo 2. He says it's been sitting in his hard drive for 15 years. Thank God he never deleted this.
Yeah.
Let's check out this picture. So you can see there was a mission probably intended with a Banshee to be used in as well. Very rough draft, as you can tell. But still pretty cool to see like what they could have pulled off. This actually even looks more like a multiplayer map actually rather than a campaign mission. Maybe it's a multiplayer map based off of the campaign mission, because you can see there's a teleporter kind of right below the Banshee down here.
Yeah, I don't
know. Really
I think Reach was the first game they did that in.
For what, first game for what?
Campaign missions being multiplayer maps.
Oh yeah. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so that was pretty cool to see. Just like, oh, look at a nice little Halo 2 nugget right there for everyone to enjoy. I saw a lot of people on YouTube as well make videos going like missing content, Halo 2 never before seen.
Did they have pog faces?
Yeah,
melting.
You ever seen that? You ever seen those memes too, where it's like nobody, absolutely nobody, YouTubers. So true though. Look at any Ali video.
It's literally my pog emo on Twitch is from one of my thumbnails.
Yeah. And so that was a kind of cool little tidbit of Halo 2 goodness. Now, since it was the 15 years of Halo 2, do you remember anything from the Halo 2 days? Or is that just all a wash?
Besides it being the greatest Halo game ever made, actually my second favorite game of all time. Halo 2 is very near and dear to my heart.
But Halo 3 is your favorite, understandable.
Don't get that train started, Kevin.
Notably silent.
Yeah, but the best memory for Halo 2, like I was into Halo growing up, but my dad was the type of guy, like anytime I got into something, he would take it away from me. Like, nope, you can't like that too much. Nope. So I wasn't into Halo 2 until a little bit later. I finally, like 2006, 2007, literally right when Halo 3 was coming out, that's when I finally got to play Halo 2 online. And when I spent most of my time playing it was online, of course. I played the campaign before that. I borrowed it from my uncle, rest in peace. And he let me borrow that. Loved the campaign, loved the Arbiter missions. It's still to this day my favorite Halo campaign as well, even though a lot of people crap on it, especially for the cliffhanger ending. But Halo 2, dude, like, and that's the one collector's edition. So if anybody's out there who's got an extra steelbook, sell me it. I am willing to buy. I really want to get that collector's edition added to my collection. But Halo 2 is just it was so good, man. I was playing that well into like 2007, 2008. And we've never seen it was ahead of its time, man. We've
Hmm.
never seen like that clan system in game represented ever again in Halo, really. Even Halo 5 couldn't do it. Like Halo 5, you got to go to Halo Waypoint to really check all your clan stuff, your roster, things like that. Um, it boggles my mind how ahead of the game that game was, and just like Halo 1 kind of reinvented shooters for the console and made shooters viable with a controller. Halo 2 was the and Halo 1 was like the killer app for Xbox. Halo 2 was the killer app for Xbox Live.
Hmm.
That single-handedly probably launched Xbox Live into the stratosphere. So, yeah, great memories from Halo 2. What about you, Kev?
I still vividly remember release night of Halo 2. I feel like I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, but basically, like, what it was back in 2004. I was in high school at the time, and obviously with Halo being like the biggest game at the time, a lot of people were very excited about it.
Mm.
And it was cool to like see so many people from my high school show up at the same GameStop in town, and we all just kind of waited in line for Halo 2 be released at midnight back when they did actual midnight releases. Right now they release it all at once, right?
Right.
um and like it was basically like a block party when we were there, because like all, you see everyone from class and school, and you're like, oh hey man, how's it going? I didn't know you like Halo so much. Like, oh yeah dude. And like I remember like one guy showing off his Halo 1 montage, and I was like, dude, how'd you record that? That's crazy. Which back in 2004, that's actually kind of tricky to actually record it.
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah. No,
showing on his MacBook and things. He's like, yeah, it's pretty sick, right? People had the trunks open, they were playing music and stuff like that. And like people were playing like touch football in the parking lot while we're waiting for the game to release and stuff. And we're just hyped talking about the game. Like it was a legit party that like high schoolers can have in the public, minus the alcohol.
yeah.
And so that was just awesome. And then of course just being able to play the game. I mean, I had so many times having friends come over to my house for system linking Halo 2 and just playing just all night long, just constantly. Back in that day, I was actually really into like finding glitches and doing stuff like that, and just finding weird things about the game, like doing super bounces and weird things. And
Super
things
bounces
like,
are so
yeah,
cool, man.
I
Getting
remember
off the
watching
map and stuff.
or doing tank pinball, and you guys ever messed with that in Halo 2? Watching some good old classic CM Near videos on YouTube back in the day, and then yeah, yeah, Halo 2, great game. Probably I'd still say the best campaign in the Halo game. Very close second in multiplayer, going to Halo 3 Pat.
Oh my god.
And actually, I did look more into that Twitter post, and actually it was a multiplayer map that was cut from the game. It was
Yeah.
themed off of that mission in Halo 2. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, Halo 2, classic game, and
It's
really
getting
does
better than projectile. I'll say it.
it really does stand the test of time. Like
Yeah.
playing Halo 2 on MCC, it's like still super fun to play.
Yep.
Like even though like you can't sprint, you can't ADS. Yeah, like probably so a lot of people get probably annoyed with, but like it's a solid game mechanics in that game. Can't really complain about it too much. It's just really well done. Obviously, they had like those weird glitches that kind of made through the game, because back in the day you couldn't really go back and patch your game to fix it. Once it was out there, it was out there. You couldn't really do much about it. But you see, that's kind of imagine how like scary game development must have been back then, not having that safety net of just like patching post launch.
Yeah. Back then, your game had to be, you know, like a good game. There was no, a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
Even back then, DLC wasn't really a thing. I mean, Halo 2 had the map packs and stuff,
Yeah.
especially with the disc and stuff. But still, you had to launch with enough content, uh, polished game, which companies like Nintendo still stick by to this day. Nintendo releases some of the most polished games you can imagine. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, there was no day one patching. There was no, okay, we'll fix it as we go along and just get it out there. Yeah, there was none of that. Yeah, it was scary.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, good old times in Halo 2.
Yeah,
I'm
great
hoping
times.
that finds. I'm really hoping that Halo Infinite kind of merges Halo 2 and Halo 3 together to make just a nice little like Halo baby. And then we can just kind of
like that.
We can just cradle that Halo baby, just like, oh, such a beautiful, just like.
Can we at least agree that Halo 2 maps were the best in the series, or are you still gonna say Halo 3 is better?
There were some kind of funky maps in Halo 2.
Oh, and there wasn't in Halo 3.
Every game has their funky maps.
Yeah, but Halo 2 had the most classic maps of all time.
So did Halo 3.
No, they were just like remakes. Okay.
The Pit?
Or spiritual successors to Halo 2 maps.
What, the Pit? Arrows?
Pit and Narrows were good, but
yeah.
you have Lockout, Midship. You have Wizard. Freaking Backwash was actually really good. Coagulation's a better version of Blood Gulch.
Well, yeah, it's a better version of Blood Gulch, but I think that Valhalla might actually be a better version than.
No, Valhalla's terrible.
What?
Oh my god, I hate Valhalla.
Yeah, I'm about to turn this stream off right now.
Guardian's a worse version of Lockout. God, don't get me started.
Oh gosh, but yeah, I will agree, mate. The Blackout remake in Halo 3, that was not as good as Lockout.
Yeah,
very much agree with that one. But yeah. Anyways, we're getting a little off topic here. I think we need to move on to the next topic of the Twitch rivals. I'd say it's probably the next thing to talk about here, which we did kind of allude to earlier in the podcast, talking about Twitch rivals. If you guys do not know what Twitch rivals is, it's basically kind of like a fun, casual competition between streamers, and kind of, you know, just not. I don't think they're winning for any kind of prize money or anything like that, but just a friendly competition between members of the community. They say it's like to figure out who's the top streamer, to duke it out between other people and stuff like that. So you definitely will get some high-end gameplay there, which is kind of interesting to check out for sure. We're gonna have 4 squads, captained by 4 different players, and I have it written down here saying Snipe Down's gonna be a captain, T Squared is gonna be a captain, Fear itself is gonna be a captain, as well as Lethal, which is gonna be a Lethal stream. Is certainly an interesting stream. I don't know if you guys have ever seen his streams, but they're makes you kind of go like, wow, dude. No, sometimes. But seeing Snipe Down, seeing T Squared come back, as well as Fear itself come back for that. This is gonna be rather interesting to see what kind of squads they put together. So definitely looking forward to that. We don't really know exactly how the format's gonna turn out, but we do know it's gonna be happening on November 12th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/Twitch Rivals. Definitely gonna be worth checking it out for sure. You enjoy some. I think it's gonna be kind of like a playoff of like, if you remember the South by Southwest event, right, where they had like the all-star teams or 4v4s playing against each other, but kind of in social matchmaking kind of style. I think it might be kind of something along that line, but maybe a little bit. It's gonna be kind of casually competitive. But we'll see how it all kind of plays out, though. Obviously, but certainly something to keep an eye on. Any thoughts about that one, Pat?
No, I just think that's a really cool thing that Tashi and the team put together. So
yeah,
props to them. Definitely be checking it out.
It's just, I think it's so great to have a bigger audience have a chance to check out Halo Reach on PC, because I'm guaranteed there's going to be a lot of people out there who don't follow Halo news at all, or people who follow it casually with whatever headline pops up in their Twitter feeds or something like that. And they go like, oh, what, Reach is on PC? When did this happen? Well, look for you, kind of thing. I just hope the game's stable, because I have some stability issues. We really hope the mouse and keyboard thing is kind of figured out. I'm just worried about it being a little premature when it comes to setting up events like this on Reach, since we're still doing the flighting, and it sounds like it might even get continued. But that's my only worry, is just that the game itself does not lend itself to good gameplay or crashes or things like that, because that's the worst part of the whole thing.
Though. I only had one, honestly, but I haven't played as much as you have, so there, that could obviously be a factor.
It could be just because I'm streaming as well. Usually when I'm streaming, my CPU is running about 90 to 100%.
How hot is your CPU getting? It could be just closing it down to try to save on it, before it blows up.
It could be that, but usually a lot of times I find the crashes happen when like the post-game carnage report is loading in. I don't really have any much time of it crashing when like the game is starting up or anything like that. That's the main time I notice it, when the game stops working.
Okay.
It gets hung up on bringing up the post game current report. I have to close out the game, restart it, open it back up. That's what I mean by crashes. But yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah. So yeah, Twitch rivals, guys, keep an eye out that on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Definitely gonna want to check that out for sure. You sound quiet. What? What?
Somebody said blink 3 times if you're being held hostage by Kevin. So I blinked and I whispered, "Help me."
Oh my god, the chat trolls. The chat trolls. But yeah, anyways, let's move over to the next topic. We're talking about the HCS hitting 5 years as well, which I think we talked about last podcast. I think we did.
Yeah, we alluded to it, that the announcement was going to be made.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we did have it be announced and gave a nice little semi roadmap, I guess you can call it, just again basically some higher end bullet points of what Tashi and the HCS team are looking to accomplish with Halo moving forward, and with the involving the grassroots program, utilize various partners and also kind of get a broader audience, and also planning things out for Halo Infinite, trying to get the right people involved with that. Do you want to take it off, Pat, when it comes to that topic?
Yeah, I think by far, to me, the biggest news was that they are trying to plan ahead a full 12 months in advance for Infinite, to have the venue set, everything set up, everything announced, and like stick to that schedule 12 months in advance, which, as they said, not to toot their own horn, but that's never really been done as far as events go. That is a long time to plan ahead. But a lot of the criticisms for HCS stuff lately has been, we're kind of left in the dark. You guys announce stuff, and then you go months without hearing anything again. So like having a dedicated team to plan this kind of stuff out, have the venue set, have everything out there to the public is huge, and that's a big undertaking. But I think they can do it. Another thing, they mentioned grassroots, how it's gonna evolve. I thought that was really cool. Definitely interested in that, especially with me and you, um, been applying and things like that. They did say that they were gonna stop signups after this last sign up for now, but that the grassroots program is going to evolve into something different, because not everybody's focused on being a pro player, or giving tips and strategies like that. So that opens the door for people like me. I don't really, I'm a sweaty in Halo, but I don't make videos on it. Um, I don't make videos
Casual,
on.
sweaty. It's kind of like
Yeah,
how I place myself too, where like I try to win and do well, but ultimately I'm
exactly.
doing it just for fun.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't have fun unless I win. So there's a difference there. But I,
Toxic.
I I just get super competitive in things. I get way too invested in certain things, but I think it's interesting. They even talked about people who don't necessarily make videos, who do other things for the Halo community, that they may expand the grassroots to. So that was really cool as well. And it was a huge, huge, huge blog post where they even
Mm.
answered specific questions from the community. So if you guys are at all interested in the pro scene, at all interested in HCS stuff, at all interested in grassroots, things like that, highly suggest going and reading it. But set aside some time, because it is a huge blog post.
We even made
What are your
a.
thoughts on?
Well, even also even put together a video here. Let me mute that real quick so you guys can kind
Yeah,
of check
yeah,
it
he
out
did
here.
with Sketch,
This
right?
yeah, it's a video with Sketch, kind of also kind of with Taji, the head of the HCS team. They kind of just go into details, talking to not necessarily details, but kind of like basically talking about the blog post in like video form. So then you don't have to go through read every single thing. But if you want all the details, you can go in and read it. But this is kind of like a general talk about what HCS is going to be doing moving forward, and pretty much everything they were talking about, I was pretty much right behind. Like they were definitely taking consideration. Not only just the players and teams and stuff like that, but also teams and organizations. I do like the roadmap idea. It's definitely gonna be very useful for a lot of people, because it seems like a lot of times that we get to like these points where we're like, we don't know what's happening next. Like right now, when it comes to DreamHack Atlanta, which is actually happening this weekend as well. Got to mention that on the podcast, put that in the podcast list as well. We got that happening this weekend, and we don't know what's happening after DreamHack. I think it's just because maybe they're trying to utilize Halo Reach to kind of get right on that excitement a little bit as well for the next event. They probably lines things up right now, and so I think talking about this also putting together this update to kind of give like a visionary roadmap of what they're going to be moving forward. Like I said, like they focus a lot when HCS first started. They said they wanted to focus a lot on the players, give the players what they wanted and needed to be successful in HCS. And they saw that, like, well, yeah, focusing on the players is so super important, but they also want to really cater to these organizations that will, that house these players, like Optic, Envious, Cloud9, those large esports organizations. They want to try to bring them back into Halo, and what can they do to bring those people in? Because each organization have very notable people within like the Halo community, like especially like Optic. They had Flamesword. That guy's super popular when it comes to anything in gaming, is for most part there. Envious, again, like another huge org. And I mean, some people even mentioned the 100 Thieves. I mean, that would be kind of cool to see get involved with Halo for esports side of things. But I think it's just super important for them to recognize that, and then hopefully try to line things up properly. Having that year-long roadmap also helps with like a lot of people, for not just like the players themselves, but also organizations that kind of help utilize funds to when they're going to be moving players in certain places and stuff like that. And also for us fans, so we can know exactly when certain events are going to be happening, that we're like, oh, this one's happening closer to me. Maybe we can try to go to that one, or we can like Pat and I'm sure we'll probably coordinate something to fly to or something, or whatever works out best for us. That, because going to an HCS event is super fun. I did it for the Halo Finals back in 2018. It was a blast. I did it for South by Southwest. Again, a blast. And super. Just if you're a Halo fan, oh shoot, I didn't mean to open that up. If you're a fan of competitive Halo, definitely want to check it out, or just the Halo community, because a lot of people do show up for those kind of things. What are your thoughts on the whole grassroots being held off there? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but you have any like deeper thoughts on that?
Not much. You kind of freaking called it, like literally last podcast. You were like, they're probably gonna cut it off at some point soon, because you don't want it to get oversaturated, things like that. But they, it's sad news that they're cutting it off for now, but it's also really exciting that they're broadening it into other kind of content, other kind of community support for Halo. So very excited to see where that goes. That's definitely really cool.
I will say that they're not like stopping grassroots. It's still happening. Right. It's still a thing. They're just not expanding it at the moment for the content creator side of things. I'm assuming we'll probably get some more like organizations, stuff like Europa Halo and GT Halo from the Toronto group as well. Like some more organizations like that kind of help do a grassroots building of these different communities. I'm sure we'll probably see something in Australia or something in Mexico, like that was mentioned in the blog post and in the video about Tashi saying they want to try to do a more international outreach to a lot of these communities to help build them up, because a lot of them, if you're not like the best player from Mexico, to say, if you're the best player in Mexico, then like you're just not gonna, and you're not gonna really have a chance to really compete in any of these events,
Yeah, that was cool too, that they plan on broadening it globally.
Yeah, well, like I said, I am a little bummed that they didn't are not expanding the content creators. I was kind of hoping to be added in on that as well, or you have us both added in for the podcast. But it does sound like what they're doing is putting on a hold to kind of be more inclusive, which I think is going to be great, because there's so many different aspects of what makes Halo amazing. Not just the competitive side of things, but just the, I think it helps utilize, gives more outreach for the grassroots content creators to be able to reach out to different people with various social media influences to help bring them in. And since they have a larger audience, you'd be like, check out how awesome the Halo is. You should be playing it, kind of stuff. Someone like, say, like Hidden Xperia, who has 350,000 subscribers. Add him in there, and if he tweets out something, I'm sure it'll get a good amount of recognition, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be super. I think it's super good for the grassroots program. I think it help be more inclusive and hopefully get more people involved with it. The current, like I mentioned last podcast, that like the current status of the grassroots content creator program, it doesn't scale very well.
Right.
It just gonna, it's gonna get oversaturated and to the point where no one's gonna bother with it because there's so many great content creators in the community, us included, I would say. And to choose some people over others, it just might create more drama and be more toxic than anything else, so
Yeah.
I'm glad to see
You
what
don't
they're
want
doing
to
with that.
divide the community. The grassroots program is supposed to expand on the community, and yeah, I like that they're, like you said, they're ending it for not ending it, but they're going back to the drawing board basically to see how else they can leverage the grassroots program to better suit the community, and I think that's really cool.
All right, thank you Dark Scorch for the host, appreciate that, man.
Nice.
Welcome everyone from Dark Scorch's stream, just doing the Halo Outreach podcast, all the good stuff in between. Yeah, I think that's everything about the HCS we want to probably touch on right there, Pete.
Yep.
And by the way, guys, links to all the stuff will be provided in the description of either the YouTube video you're watching this or on Podbean or Spotify. If they do descriptions, I think they do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. And so next topic we go into is a Halo TV show casting confirmed and various things about that. I was getting a little excited about this at first because I was getting teased before I got this news info dropped because it says I do follow Kiki Wolfkill and Frank O'Connor. Right, I messed this up earlier. I mixed it up with Marty O'Donnell. Earlier that they put out these two Instagram posts. Here's Kiki Wolfkill showing a little bit of a destination called Budapest that she's going to. If you guys do not know, the Halo TV show is being filmed in Budapest, which is over in Turkey, right? Remember correctly?
Yep.
Yeah. And so we get that, and so I saw that, and I was like, interesting. Why Kiki Wolfkill, lead manager of external media, going out to Budapest where the TV show is being filmed. And then I saw this from Frankie showing the picture of the 4 seasons in Budapest. I'm like, something's a brewing. And needless to say, there was a nice brew happening. Like basically, if you want to go a little bit about this, Pat, about the TV show casting and stuff
casting,
like that. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did a video on this as well, and like I said in my video too, like disclaimer that this isn't like about race. A lot of people are making it about race and the casting news. Um, it's not about race. It's just we basically got big news. Okay, so two of them are major characters that have been well established in the lore and previous games, things like that. So we have Captain Jacob Keyes and his daughter Miranda Keyes, which is actually Dr. Miranda Keyes in this show. So a little bit different. And we also have a new character. I believe it was, what was the name of her? Meek or something like that. That is being added to the show. And oh, Mackie, that's what it was, Mackie. Now I'll touch on Mackie a little bit because I got some strong opinions on that. Now the big thing for people was that Captain Keyes and Miranda were both African American or black people that were playing white characters, and a lot of people made it about race and things like that. And to a certain degree, I get that sentiment, but like we've talked about before, the Halo TV show isn't based in the lore. They've already said
it's not
that,
canon, yeah.
Yeah, it's not canon. It's something else. It stands on its own. But at the same time, there is a kind of disconnect because the main people that are going to be watching this Halo TV series are the fans that have played the games, that have read the books. So why not keep that, continue? I'm trying that same, aspect. Keep like if Sergeant Johnson was cast as a white dude, people would be up in flames about that too. Like It's not about, oh, it's he went from white to black and they're trying to be inclusive, things like that. It's it's cool to have a diverse cast. Halo has a diverse cast of characters as it is, and that's my personal problem with it. You already have a diverse cast of Halo that you could cast that guy as. He literally looks like Sergeant Johnson. I retweeted the somebody photoshopped Sergeant Johnson's hat on him, and it literally looks like a spitting image of Halo 2 Anniversary, the blur cutscene of Sergeant Johnson. I'm like, dude, that's Sergeant Avery Johnson. Uh,
I want.
and
Sorry, you'll continue. I'm gonna cut you off.
Okay. So like, like you already have those diverse characters in Halo. And then even if you didn't want to do that for sakes, you have this new character Mackie that is a completely new character as far as I know. I'm pretty decently versed in the lore. I do some lore videos and stuff. I'm not no hidden Xperia or Ian from Halo canon. I'm not that well versed, but I'm pretty sure Mackie's a new character, and she's an orphan who was raised by the Covenant and hates humanity. And
Hmm.
that just sounds like some weird fan fiction. Like, what? Why would the Covenant raise a human? Um, Kind of sounds weird, but you're introducing new characters, so you could have easily had this actor play a new character. He could have been a captain, something interesting, um, and avoided literally all that, you know,
Well,
that
uh,
buzz, that maybe negative press.
I mean, they could have maybe the reason why they decided to capture them and like have the Covenant capture a human and raise them, and maybe it'd be some way to maybe not like demonize the Covenant so much. Showing that they do have some form of like compassion, not just like blindly murdering humans.
Yeah, but that's what they do in the games. They literally hate humanity and think they're like a parasite and literally interferes with their religious beliefs. So I don't know. Obviously, like we said, it's not canon. So the
Yeah.
covenants the covenant's motives could be totally different in the show. We don't know yet. Um,
Hmm.
but the other thing is that I'll say is that I don't like when I feel like an agenda is being forced onto me. Like I said, like I feel like I love diversity. I come from diverse backgrounds myself. My mother's Hispanic, my father is Middle Eastern. Um, I I get that. I get being inclusive. But when you're just literally just like, all right, we're gonna cast, this white guy as a black guy and like put no context into it. And I feel like it's being forced onto me. Um, that's where I kind of draw a line, or I'm just like,
Hmm.
But I'm the type of person where I need to see something, I need to actually watch it, or when it comes to a game, I'm not gonna shit on a game until I actually play it and try it for myself. So of course, I'm a Halo fan. We're going to be covering this show as Halo fans. Me and you both. We're going to talk about it hundreds of more times, probably, and we're going to watch it. We might even do like reviews on the episodes or something.
I'm definitely
Like
doing
yeah.
that when that
So
comes
like
out.
we're gonna watch it and then I'll judge it. I made
Hmm.
this point in my video. I wrote off Heath Ledger. I'm like, oh my god, the dude from Brokeback Mountain. Are you
Yeah,
kidding
I
me?
did as
He's the new
well.
Joker. And I wrote off Ben Affleck before Batman vs Superman, and I'm like, dude, freaking Daredevil, are you? No, it's gonna be awful. And I loved his take on Batman. Like, I didn't like his take in Justice League. I'll put that out there as a big Batman fan. But in Batman vs Superman, he is my favorite on-screen Batman. It was
Wow,
badass, and
that's coming. That's coming from you. I mean, you have the
yeah.
Batman chair, basically.
Oh,
You're
what? I
Pat
have that.
Man. You're
I
Pat
am
Man.
Patman. Yeah, I'm a big Batman fan, and I wrote off Robert Pattinson when he got cast too, but I gotta wait and see.
Mm.
So we'll wait and see. We'll see
Uh,
how it goes. What are your opinions on
Now, I just want to
the
confirm,
casting?
just like if anyone who's watching the podcast is not totally well versed in it. Oops, there we go. If you guys, if you can see my screen here or not. So we have Pablo Schreiber, who's going to be playing Master Chief. This is Yurin Ha, I think, who's going to be playing like Chief's like companion throughout the whole thing. I think this guy's playing as another Spartan. We have I can't remember her name, but she's playing as like Halsey slash Cortana.
Cortana, right?
I don't know who these other people are. But this you're saying this guy right here in the front, he's playing as Captain Keyes.
Yeah, Danny
And
Sapani or
and then
Sapani.
I'm guessing this is Miranda Keyes then?
Yeah, right next to him in that
Right.
picture
Okay.
is Miranda. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure who these people on the outside are because I.
Now, Danny's like he's actually a decent actor.
Mhm.
He's been in Doctor Who. He was in Black Panther. He was in Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Um, but I've never seen Olive Gray, who's playing Miranda, and then Charlie Murphy. I was like, wait, Charlie Murphy, and then I
Charlie
forgot
Murphy.
Charlie Murphy, everybody, Charlie Murphy. But I forgot he passed away. I'm like, wait, no, that's not Charlie Murphy. And
Wait,
these
Charlie
are
Murphy
all,
died?
yeah, like, and I thought so too. I was like, didn't Charlie Murphy die? And I looked it up. He died like 2 years ago.
Oh, whoa, damn.
Yeah. But um, these actors are all United Kingdom actors too, which is interesting as well.
Mhm.
That they cast. But yeah, Sapani's actually a good actor, and that's why I'm like, dude, he'd be a badass like new character or freaking Avery Johnson. He could bring the energy and be Avery Johnson. So
Yeah,
yeah,
to me, it doesn't really bother me too much. I did see like on Twitter some people talking about this as well, and I know like late night gaming brought up a good point, saying how like the Marvel universe took some liberties and that kind of stuff as well. If you look at was it Nick Cage, right? Yeah, I played Samuel L.
yeah,
Jackson's character in the comics is actually like a super buff like white guy who's like in the action of everything, where Cage in obviously the Marvel movies is much more like a what do you call him, like management office person who kind of controls the things in the background kind of thing. But it works out super well though, because I think from my experience, like from obviously playing the Halo games, I don't think there's necessarily anything about like Captain Keys or Miranda Keys that necessarily ties them to their race. I'd say. I mean, like you can. I don't think their race doesn't really matter at all when it comes to the story of Halo. I mean, it's not like you're trying to tell like it's not like you're trying to recreate like San Andreas, you know, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You'd kind of need to have like some specific kind of races to portray that story accurately, if you know what I mean. That's why I like the movie Prince of Persia. It gets a lot of crap because Jake Gyllenhaal plays the Prince of Persia. You know, not exactly a whole lot of white people over in the Persian area, if you know what I mean.
right.
So it's like it's stuff like that. You would need to have like obviously specific kind of races playing these certain kind of roles to add authenticity to it. I'd say like from my experience of playing Halo games, there's nothing really that ties any characters in the Halo story to a specific type of race, and so it doesn't bother me one bit having
I
Keys.
agree with that.
Yeah,
No, I do. But like I said, when I feel like it's an agenda being pushed, that's where I'm just like,
I
like
don't
just
feel
for
like it's
the
being an
sake
agenda.
of.
I don't feel like it's an agenda being pushed. I mean, if they
I
make
think it is.
Keys like a transsexual like gay man or something like that, then that might be a little pushing it.
Well, you just see a lot of 343 employees comment like love the diversity, like it feels like they're just
Mm,
trying to be diverse to be diverse, and that's where I'm just like,
mm.
it's just cringy to me. It's not like I have a problem with it. It's just cringy to me.
Nah, I hear
And
you
then
on
on
that one.
top of that,
Mm.
it's Nick Fury, by the way. That's
Nick Fury,
Samuel L.
yeah.
Jackson. Yeah,
Did I say Nick
but
Fury?
and you
Fury.
said
No, I
Nick
said Nick
Cage.
Cage. Yes, Nick
Yeah,
Fury. Yeah, yeah.
that's
I'm so good at names
Locke's that's
tonight,
Locke's
dude.
character. Mike Coulter, he
Yeah,
played
let's
Luke
Luke
Cage.
Cage. That's
Luke
Luke
Cage,
Cage.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're
See,
just mixing. You're just
I can't
merging people together.
names. I'm just cross-referencing names, just
Yeah,
splicing together tonight, dude.
but like what was I gonna say? I'm pretty sure in the comics though, Nick Fury was there in the Ultimate Universe or something like the Osman. He was black too. So like, there's still references that you can go back to, and that's why I say just for the continuality of from games to books to the show now, you would think they would cast him. I'm not saying he has to be like a whatever race Keys is in the Halo games, but
Hmm.
it's like different. It's like
And
whoa,
and again, like I said, like we said earlier, that the show itself is not canon,
right?
so they can kind of do whatever they want with the
Yeah, they
story.
could go all over the place.
Which
Yeah,
I think it's ultimately like the best way to do it, because if you try to connect it with the games, that you have to multiple teams, you have different visions of different people, you're trying to line up properly. They have their story they want to tell, they have their other people have their story they want to tell. It becomes a mess. I think
yeah.
just let them
And
do
that's
their own
basically
thing.
what killed the Halo movie. Like,
Yeah.
Neil
Hmm.
Blomkamp, he wanted to tell his own Halo story, and Microsoft was like, nah,
No.
I don't think we want that. He's like, all right, see ya.
Yeah,
So
that's basically what
it
happened with that
happens.
whole thing.
Yeah,
And
the good
so,
news is that
yeah.
it's finally off the ground, dude. This
Mhm.
series was announced 6 years ago. 6 years ago, and it's just
Yeah.
going into production. So yeah, it's
Not
nice
only
that
did
it's
the
finally getting
MCC
off.
have, yeah, not only did the MCC have its issues for years, so did the Halo TV show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Halo's been trying for a long time to get on the silver screen and other things. So
Mm.
it's been a long time coming. I'm excited. Showtime, that's a big name, and obviously entertainment on TV. It's got to have a big budget. There's talking like Game of Thrones size budget. So, um, and
There's a
like I
void
said, well,
left. You need to fill it with fill the Game of Thrones void with some Halo, man.
yeah, that'd be dope.
But yeah, so that's kind of our little discussion on the whole thing. Ultimately, I think it lends us the casting to me. As long as they're good, they fit as long as they fit the feel of the character. You know,
Yeah,
as long as like they don't change like the they call it the mental uh perf-
state,
state of the
the
character. I don't
psyche, the
psyche of the
psyche.
characters. Like as long as they
Yeah,
still portray the characters as you would feel them in the games.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, Captain Keys comes like, "What's up, boys? Captain Keys here." You're like, okay, that doesn't really fit the theme of
You
what I
don't have
remember
to
Captain
find
Keys
ammo as
being.
you go. I don't keep it loaded. God.
Like my corn pipe. Oh
Oh
god,
God.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, so yeah, looking forward to that. Obviously, production will start soon on this. I think they're aiming for a 2021 release of this
Yeah,
show.
first quarter of 2020.
Yeah, so probably like a March, probably soon after the release of the Halo game, which honestly I think might actually be better for the TV show. But if it didn't
Yeah.
release, let people get over that for the first 3 months, and then you release a TV show. And
We
get
should definitely get a trailer like next year, right around Infinite.
oh yeah,
Like a few months before it.
maybe even
It officially
E3.
goes live. Yeah, could be.
E3, you
Think
probably
they'll
even
have
get
one
like
that
maybe a
early?
little bit of a
Yeah.
trailer kind of thing, just kind of give
Yeah,
an
could be.
initial just kind of feels because most shows do their recordings during the summer months, just for
Yeah.
kind of consistency of like weather for the most part. So like because that's like Walking Dead does every year, right? They record during the summer, and then they do like kind of the spring, early summer, do the editing right after that, release it in October, rinse and repeat. So yeah, probably would see something probably sometime in June. Sometime this summer, we'd probably get some kind of trailer for a Halo TV show, which would be pretty awesome. Make sure you tip subscribe to keep up to date with all that stuff on the channels, guys.
Yes, sir. Nice plug. Nice plug.
Oh yes, great transition. And then it's also a really great transition to figure out what we're gonna be playing next week in Halo.
What? You play Halo? I didn't know that.
Like almost like every week, pretty much.
Just not with us.
What's about? Hit okay. Whatever. As mad at me because I'm not messaging him every time I hop online to play video games. But neither does Pat. Pat never messages me about whenever he's hopping online to play video games. No pun intended.
Actually, I do. We have a group chat with Jimbo's Raps, and I always and you're in it.
Yeah, but you're like, let's play Halo 5. And I'm like,
well, then you could be like, well, let's play Halo Reach, and I'd be like, okay. Well, now you know. Anyways, on to the Halo 5 playlist update.
Yeah, and Master Chief Collection update as well.
Yes,
forget that.
You want to do MCC? I'll do Halo 5.
Yeah, we could do a little bit of that right there.
A bit.
There, just a minor little update coming with MCC here. Basically, it's just more matchmaking kind of differences here. So noted in the update from Snickerdoodle, actually. Not Postums update. Postums is just, I'm sure he's just heads down and trying to get this all done. So he's like, he's living and breathing probably this MCC update, trying to bring Reach over. So we've seen Sketch coming with a post, but now we see Snickerdoodle, aka Sam, coming in with a post. Talk about the different matching going on with MCC. Saying this rule has already been enabled in the Halo 3 Team Slayer playlist. In the recap, I guess it looks like it's kind of going for pretty much overall Halo MCC. Saying squads of 3 or 4 will only match against other squads of 3 or 4. Very important to know, which I think is super important. I think 3 is kind of that cutoff point of like when you really notice you're matching against a team. You ain't match against parties of 2. That's really not that big of a deal if you're kind of a solo player. They also mentioned about solo play in MCC, saying solo players and squads of 2 will only match other squads of 1 or and 2. Exception is that the solo player can fill out the team with a squad of 3. So if you're a solo player, they're gonna try to prioritize you and like solo players or teams of 2. But sometimes if it's late at night, you gotta put people in the match. Sometime you might still get matched in with against or with a party of 3. So got that going on there. This applies for ranked and social 4v4 matchmaking in the MCC. So definitely good to keep track of. I'm surprised they haven't really implemented. I thought they had something kind of similar implemented to that already, but maybe it's just full squad, so you couldn't match against like 3s or anything less than a full match. But
I think
anyway,
it's just full squads. Yeah, before.
Do you want to take the Halo 5 side of things there, Pete?
So on the Halo 5 side of things, currently we have Team Snipers that is active right now and featured. We also have, what is the social place? Yeah, multi-team or teams of 2 on 2 on 2, just 3 teams, which is pure chaos. I actually don't mind it as much as, you said it was like over Castle Wars any day of the week. Having a Magnum, like I was going off in some games, especially I had my wife and one of my viewers in there with me, and they were like really low ranks, and I was just dropping 30 bombs every game, and it was like, this is
You're like, oh,
glorious.
thank God for lowering the MMR. Thank you.
Yes, it was freaking awesome. It was like 6 games in a row, like 34, 35 kills out of the 50. I was like, yes, this is cool.
It reminds me of when there was like the Halo 3 ranked playlist first came in, and I was playing with my couple buddies of mine who like don't really play Halo. But they're like, oh, Halo 3 and Halo 5, that was give it a go kind of thing. And they're all like trash, like silver, gold players at best. Like they're terrible at the game. And I'm generally about low diamond, as I generally is where I'm placing. And I was just going off in those lobbies, dude. Oh god, I was getting like I was like 27 kill like Slayer matches and stuff like that. It's like it feels so good to play like a truly social match again.
Yeah, exactly. Not have to sweat profusely.
Oh god, yeah.
But for next week, November 14th, which will go live on Thursday, we're gonna have CE Anniversary Throwback rotating in for Castle Wars. Thank God. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Get that Castle Wars out of here. CE Anniversary. Look forward to that. 3-tapping people. That's an upgrade over Castle Wars in my opinion. I don't enjoy that one as much either.
It's alright.
Yeah,
it's still good. It's fun, but it's fun to kind of just like hop in and mess around. If you're like trying to like do well and win, it can be a little frustrating just because of how that Magnum is just so damn lethal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's way more lethal than the actual CE Magnum because it's hit scan compared to projectile, and there's no bloom.
Scan and the hitboxes on Halo 5 are ridiculous.
Mm.
But on November 14th as well, Warzone Assault will go live for the weekend only. Yeah.
I do love me some Warzone Assault.
Kevin's cheering like he's actually going to play Halo 5. Let's.
I mean, if Reach is still live at that point, we might be playing. Yeah. Or just MCC. Or it could be Halo 5. I don't know.
Hey,
we'll see.
I'm now officially past you in rank.
Really?
Halo 5. I've
wow.
now caught up and passed Kevin. You need to get back on and play some with us sometime. But yeah, that is your Halo 5 playlist update for all those grinding out the featured playlist.
So yeah, I guess that kind of brings us to the end of the show here. Usually also on Twitch, guys, we do a little bit of a live Q&A. If you guys are interested in something like that, make sure to leave your comments in the chat right now. We'll make sure to read them after the stream ends. For everyone watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast on Podbean or Spotify, we're just kind of give you guys a little bit of ways to help find the podcast. Like I said, you could type in Halo Outreach Podcast in either Podbean or on Spotify. You'll find it there, or just on YouTube. You can check it out there as well. You find Pat over there at the Patman Gaming on Twitter. And where else can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Patman Gaming. You could find me on Twitch. We just passed 200 followers on this stream as we're streaming right now. Ninja Jimbo coming for you. uh, and on YouTube, we are almost to 1,000 subs, so that's a really big milestone for me. Really excited about that. We're like at 950 about, so it's been
Damn,
growing
getting
steady.
close.
Yeah, we're getting close, and we're trying to get there by the end of the year. And you can find me on YouTube by just typing in Patman Gaming in the search bar. But
Mhm.
yeah,
And then,
yeah, we're
yeah,
gonna be pretty busy coming up.
oh yeah, that's especially with the holiday season. You know, busy with family stuff. Games being releasing. We have we have a freaking Jedi Fallen Order
Yeah,
releasing
Jedi
this week as
Fallen
well.
Order coming out this week. Yep.
15th.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a
Yep.
Pog champ right there. I'm excited to play that game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So you got that coming around as well. If you want to find me, you can check out the video right here at KevinKoolx Halo on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube, KevinKoolx. Find me on Instagram, KevinKoolx. You can find me on Facebook, KevinKoolx.
What about MySpace?
Oh, I haven't made a MySpace page yet. I do need to get involved with that. I feel like I'm missing something. If not, then
Did you say Instagram?
yeah, I got the Instagram. Actually, I did actually want to mention something. I did partner with a game accessory company. They reached out to me and saying they want to do kind of like an affiliate program kind of thing. And I checked out their website, and I've had people reach out to me before. I'll try and like do some kind of like partnership with some codes or something like that. And I was like, no, they're like too sketchy, or they just not in my demographic of viewership at all. Like one time I had like a company reach out to me for like they sell clothes and like sunglasses and stuff. They literally had like 6 items in their shop, and like the cheapest thing was like a $50 pair of sunglasses. I'm like, yeah, I'm not bothering with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I partnered with Silver Assault. They are like a gaming accessory, peripheral, clothing store where you can like buy various things from there. I have a link in the YouTube description down below. Go check out the link. If you buy something from there, I get a little kickback as well, just kind of as like a promotional kind of thing. They do have a pretty sick ODST hoodie, which I might actually buy myself. Yeah, it actually looks pretty sweet. They got like various like skins for your consoles and the little accessories like keychains and stuff like that. So if you want to check it out, you can buy a little something. I get a little kickback, but obviously don't have to if you don't want it. But it's there. And
Good way to support the channel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so I think that pretty much covers everything for podcast today, Pat.
I take your ODST hoodie and I raise you one Patman Gaming hoodie that you can also purchase to support the stream.
A little trade off
stream
there.
alive.
All right, that'll be a fair. That's a fair trade. That's a fair trade. I could use a nice Patman shirt. I need to come up with something too.
Yeah, we still got to work on that.
Yeah, man. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I want to say thanks for everyone coming by, check out the videos, listening on Podbean and on over there on Spotify as well. Make sure you keep up to date with all that good stuff in between. Thanks for watching, guys. Pat, as always, thank you for coming by and helping co-host all the goodiness that comes with the Halo Outreach podcast. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.